Hey YouTube, so this is a controller that I did for my girlfriend. I told her I was going to be making her a controller for fun, just so she'd have one when she come over and play. It's a Wiimote. I did not make a tutorial for this, a step-by-step process, but I can somewhat explain what I did. So I have the controller itself here. It was just some leftover paint that I had to make, pink and whatnot. There's a cool little LED mod in here that I'll be showing you and explaining. That's why the batteries aren't in. Let's put that in. Here's the back. With this is a rechargeable thing by Nyko. This is the brand name, and there's the light mod in it. The A button lights up. It's during the day right now, so you don't see it as well as you should. But yeah, it's the only downside is the second batteries are attached to that thing's going, and I haven't found the solder points to have it match up with the turning on of the controller, so I don't really know. But yeah, that's the controller. Now for the explanation. Regular Wiimote. This one's pretty destroyed. This is one I'm just throwing away. It's ruined, basically. So what you do to take it apart is you take off your back cover, and there's 4 screws. There's 2 in the bottom, and then there's 2 that are right up there. You take those 4 screws out. You're going to need a tri-wing screwdriver to do that. And you take those out, and when you go to take it off, there's going to be little clips on this part up here at the top. You can see the 2 clips right there and there. So when the controllers are together, you're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and be careful because you will ruin it by doing this, or if you do it wrong. You take your flathead screwdriver, and you go in here, and you gotta slightly, gently try to pry it open. And once you get that pried open, it's gonna jolt. Sometimes, like, I lost a power button doing this, because when I pried it, it just popped and everything exploded out, and it was not good. So you do that. You get the top off, and so you pop that off. On the inside of the controller, so when you get it off, depending on however it pops off, there's a speaker right here. Be careful with that. Don't ruin that or damage it. Your speaker will not work. But if you're gonna do a custom paint like I did, on the inside of this right here, I don't know if you can see, there's a little plastic thing in there. You got to make sure you pry that out because you don't want to spray over that, or else your LEDs won't shine through the little squares that are at the bottom there. So you take that plastic part out, and then when you get, this is the other part of it. This is what the motherboard of it looks like. This black part in front of your infrared, it slides right out like that. So you take that out, and then you're gonna try to pry out the motherboard. So it just, it comes right out. This is the bottom of it. There's a plastic thing that goes on the back of this. It's what this is what your rumble pack is, basically. It's what sits in this, and it also has the rubber pad for your B button. There's a rumble light mod you can do. You basically just tap an LED into these solder points right here where the rumble is, and every time that the your nunchuck is rumbling, that light will flash. And so it's a cool little mod that you can do. I'm going to be doing it in a future controller. I had just ordered a red Wiimotion Plus remote. I'm doing a Star Fox theme on it. There's a Star Fox 64 controller that I'm bidding on right now. Not telling you where it is, 'cause I don't want any competition, but If I do win it, I'll make a video for it, and I'll give the creator some props. Get him, he can, have some publicity that way. But he inspired this theme of the controller. So what I'm going to do for that one is the same A button LED mod and a rumble mod and the B button, and I'll do a tutorial for that for you guys. So the two solder points that I worked with are on the bottom side of the motherboard, and they are two tiny little dots right under my finger, or above my finger. Those two right there. The one that is closest to the black chip is the negative, and the one that's on the other side, that's your positive line. Depending on your Wiimote, depends on the capability of modding. There's a tutorial that I watched. The motherboards were completely different, and so I just kind of had to guess on solder points and just kind of based off of my knowledge and experience figure out which one's ground and etc. etc. So you get the solder that in. As an FYI, what I used was 1/8 watt 470 ohm resistors. I got at Radio Shack. They're like $1 or something, and I'm using rectangular LEDs because they are more somewhat put it this way, instead of having a round one that's just gonna cause more of a push down when you go to clamp it back in, having a rectangular one, it's flat, and so it makes life easier. But let's see, which ones are these? I think these are 5mm LEDs. They're, like I said, the rectangular ones. They're red. And so what you do is you solder down your resistor to the positive, your negative feed from the LED into the negative, and then just solder the end of the resistor to the positive end of your LED. You fold it around, and you don't want it to go too far into the white part of this right here. Like, you want it to sit like right here, basically, or else it'll interfere with the A button. Now, you're going to have to remove some plastic on parts of the controller and part of your button. So, I'll show you that right here. What you need to do is on the button, you're going to remove this little wing right here, or right there, that one. You're going to cut that part off of the button. What I did to remove the stuff from the inside is I have a Dremel. I don't know if people just have Dremels laying around their house. I don't know what you guys have. I recommend using a Dremel. It's faster, it's easier, but what you do is you cut down that plastic part of the controller, right, all in there, and then you cut down this plastic part right there on the sides so you can see that closer. You cut that out. And then what I did, I saw a tutorial about using black nail polish, but I just use a black acrylic paint. You paint the insides of everything, because what it does is it stops light from escaping. Be careful and don't do what I did and paint on the inside of this part right here where like the button goes in, because the button will stick. Do not do that. I did that once and it was awful. So just paint everything else around the outside of it. So basically, all you need to paint from is like where these pegs are to about the top of the home plus the negative buttons. You just need to paint all that outer part black, basically, all in there. You just need to paint all that black, and so it stops the light from escaping. And when you go to assemble it, be careful about snapping things back down. It is, it was a problem for me once. When I snapped it in, I was careless, and it broke off solder, and so the light didn't work, so I had to retake everything apart and resolder. It's just a pain in the ass. So, yeah, just, like I said, be careful. And that's all I did, really. So, I'll show you the controller one last time. And that's your mod, guys.